Hi, Lez Graham here from Train for Life and also the Pet Gundog. Um, I thought I'd come on and talk about playing tug or tuggy or raggy or whatever you want to call it with the Gundog. So it's something that I'm asked a lot, either on Facebook or texts or in person or on email. Is do you play pull with your Gundogs? And my answer is yes. So um, I've been training gun dogs for a long time, and when I first was doing picking up and stuff with my dogs, I was also doing competitive obedience. I started doing competitive obedience, and I've also done search and rescue with the dogs. And um, part of doing obedience is you playing pull and playing generally is a big part of motivating your dog to work for you. And I didn't see a reason not to do that with my gun dogs, you see. So I credit my gun dogs with enough savvy to know the difference between playing pull with a toy or retrieving a dummy or retrieving a bird. And so I don't have an issue with it at all. There are some rules that I put in place in relation to playing pull with my dogs, and that's to ensure that I don't have an impact on the delivery. So I would never play pull with a young dog. I would never play pull with a dog that's still got its baby teeth in, because the last thing I would want to do is to ping out baby teeth by playing pull. And I also want to make sure that the jaw's settled, that the big teeth are well and truly in, the jaw's settled, that it's the front of the jaw, the mandibular symphysis has really got good hold with the jawbone. And so I don't play pull with a youngster. That's not to say that I don't hold the toy and let them pull it back, or that I stand on the toy and let the dog pull it. But the things that I never do with the dog while it's still got its baby teeth in, before its big teeth are in properly, is I never play pull, and I never pull sideways either. So that's one of the first things, that's one of my first rules, is I make sure that it's age appropriate training, which is something that I'm very hot on. So I never play pull with a youngster. I always wait until their jaw is pretty much fully formed and they've got their big teeth in. Another thing is that when I play pull, I always go side to side, because dogs have got this wonderful range of movement in their neck going side to side. I never go up and down like this when I play pull, never, because what we don't want to do is cause any issues with the dog's neck by going up and down, because they haven't got a great range of movement going up. At some point the spine will stop moving. But side to side, dogs have got a fantastic range of movement. So when I play pull or tuggy, always side to side, never up and down. And also moving side to side will fire up the prey drive. It fires up the predatory response, because you're mimicking the movement of prey. And so that's a really good way of getting the dog motivated, moving side to side. And so that's another little one of my rules, if you like, when you play pull with a dog, is never play up and down, always side to side. Another thing that I put in place when playing pull with a gun dog is that I never ever play pull on a delivery. So the second my dog's got something in its mouth, to me, as far as I'm concerned, that's a retrieve. So if I'm playing catch with the dog, as soon as it's in its mouth, then I want the dog to come to me and I take delivery. If I do a retrieve, on the dog to bring the toy back, or bring the dummy back, or bring the bird back, put it in my hand, and then I decide what's happening next. So I'll either tell the dog to sit, or I'll tell the dog to come to heel, or if it's a toy, especially if it's a tuggy toy, then I'll invite the dog then to have a game of pull. So it's always by invitation. So pull is always invitation only. And also I have a silly noise as well when I start playing pull. So I'll get the dog to do a retrieve, I'll say give, and then I might go, yeah, get it, or yeah, girl, or any kind of silly noise that indicates to the dog that it's a game. And that's being invited to play, and it's being invited to pull back on the toy. And so I can do a lovely formal retrieve on a toy, the dog can bring it back, I can take delivery, I can then throw the toy again, take delivery, invite them to play, throw the toy again, do a formal delivery, put the dog to heel. And so it's all about how we set up that invitation. But before I invite the dog to play, I make sure that I've got a nice delivery, and I also make sure that I've got a good give command, and I've trained leave-it as well, so that I know if, and I would do this even before teaching the dog to play pull, is when I say give, it's not up for debate. The dog has to hand over what's in its mouth. And I do that by teaching leave-it and by teaching the dog a good solid give. One of the really good things about playing tuggie with your dog is that you can really, really get the dog fired up. You can get, you can get them really motivated and get the energy really high, and then you can switch it off. That wasn't a very good click. You can switch it off. And so I found that away from the shooting field and away from using things like dummy launchers, the way of getting a dog really motivated, really fired up, really, really on its toes, really wanting more, really coming back for more, is to have a really great full-on game of tug. And it's awesome because you can then put in an excellent stop switch. So what I do is I put in a good sit, a good leave-it, enough. I say enough, which means just stop what you're doing now. And what happens is you can go from having a dog, the dog's energy really high, really motivated, really wanting to work, really coming back from more, and you go, okay, that's enough, off. And the energy just drains right down. The whole energy comes down. And the dog really learns self-control. And it's great for when you start doing more advanced gun dog training, when you start bringing the starter pistol and the launcher, and then eventually go and shooting with the dog, because you can just, you've put an off switch in there. You can drain the energy, and the dog learns how to control its energy as well. It learns how to go from, from 100% to 10% of energy, and it can bring it right down. So that's one of the things that I absolutely love about playing pull with a gun dog. From a fitness perspective, playing tug with your dog is awesome. Again, it's great for getting the dog fit. So when a dog's playing pull and it's putting its front feet, it's locking its front feet, then straight away it's starting to use, it's building up its shoulder muscle, it's building up its biceps and its triceps. As it's pulling back, it's using its core muscles, so it's using its obliques, its abdominals. The back muscles are all getting tensed as well, so the back's getting worked. The hamstrings, the calf muscle, the gastrocnemius is also getting pulled in. Everything, and the dog is using its claws as well, so it's using all the little tendons in its legs as well to really grip the ground and to push back. And so it's a really, really good exercise to get a dog physically strong, get the core muscles working. And to build up as well, to build up the neck muscles as well, which we do want built up if we're going to work with dogs, because if it's going to be running out and running back and picking up big, good, healthy, strong, fat pheasants, hopefully, we want to have the dog to have really good solid neck muscles as well. And playing pull is another way of conditioning the dog. It's a really good conditioning game to play with your dog, as well as work on self-control and everything else. It's great for getting the dog well toned up with really, really good, strong core muscles. From an owner's perspective, taking away the whole gun dog side of it, from an owner's perspective, it's really good to bond with your dog. It's a really good game to play, just from a bonding perspective. I get a lot out of it, the dogs get a lot out of it, and they get really excited at the thought of playing and getting a tuggy toy out. So the times that I wouldn't play pull, other than with a young dog, is if your dog's showing any kind of aggression. So if the dog is possessive over toys, if it's a resource guarder, or any kind of dominance aggression, then playing pull would be off the menu for me until I'd resolved that behaviour issue. So I would be getting the behaviourist out. So before you embark on a game of pull with your dog, make sure that your dog will hand over toys very easily, that it doesn't resource guard anything around the house. If it does, get a behaviourist out, and then with your behaviourist then talk about maybe doing some tuggy if that's what you want to do. So in relation to playing tug with your dog, okay, it needs to be age appropriate. So no youngsters, make sure the teeth are in, make sure the jaw's fairly set. The jaw never fully sets in the way that our jaw does, but make sure it's the big teeth are in and they're in properly. then have a good game of pull, although you can before that just hold on to the toy but never pull back, or pull your dog around by a tuggy toy by its teeth. Side to side only, never up and down, side to side only. Invitation only, so when your dog brings something back, it's got to hand it over, and then you can invite the dog to play. Have some rules and boundaries. Really, really important for anything you do with your dog is have some rules and boundaries in relation to what the game is. You invite the dog to play, you say how long you play for, and when it's over, it's up to your dog to just hand over the toy. So teach a good leave, teach a good give before you start going down this, playing this game. So teach a good on, teach a good off. It's great for bonding with your dog. It's fantastic for teaching self-control. It's great for teaching steadiness, and it's fantastic for teaching core strength and getting your dog fit. And the main thing, apart from having really good fun with your dog, is toys are for retrieving. Toys are for retrieving and for playing tuggy, playing fetch, whatever. Dummies, birds and rabbits are only for retrieving. So don't even consider playing pull with the dummy. But the most important thing is to have fun with your dog.